Hello, everyone. So today we will be learning about Excel and getting around Excel. So just a little introduction to Excel. Microsoft Excel is a powerful spreadsheet program developed by Microsoft. It is one of the most widely used tools in business, education, and personal data management. Excel allows users to organize, calculate, analyze, and visualize data differently, as we will learn in this course. So what is the purpose of Excel and why are we learning it? Excel is primarily used to work with data in a structured way. It helps individuals and organizations manage numbers, perform calculations, track information, and present insights clearly. It is especially valuable for tasks such as budgeting, reporting, financial analysis, and forecasting. So here are some of the key features of Excel. Worksheets and workbooks. So like the Excel files, the workbooks contain one or more sheets. Cells, rows, columns. That's like the basic structure where data is entered and organized. Formulas and functions are like tools to perform calculations from simple addition to advanced statistical operations. Charts and graphs, so like when you want to visualize tools to represent the data. Pivotal tables, so like advanced summaries and analysis. Data tools, like features for sorting, filtering, cleaning, and visualizing data. And automation. So here are the applications of Excel. Excel is a versatile and widely applied in different fields. So like business, education, personal, and data analysis. So why learn Excel? Excel is an essential skill in today's data-driven world. Learning Excel helps improve efficiency, accuracy, productivity when dealing with numbers and information. It also builds a foundation for more advanced data tools such as Power BI, SQL, and Python. So the next module would be about getting around Excel and getting started with it. Excel is a spreadsheet program that allows you to sort, store, organize, and analyze information. While you may think Excel is only used by certain people to process complex data, anyone can learn Excel. So here is like a tutorial on how to start the Excel. So when you open Excel for the first time, the Excel start screen will appear like this. From this screen, you will locate and select a blank workbook to access the Excel interface. So you'll get a blank workbook. And then some parts of the Excel window, like ribbon and scroll bars, are standard in most of the Microsoft programs. However, there are other features that are more specific. So click the buttons in the interactive below to become familiar with the parts of the Excel interface. So working with Excel environment, the ribbon and the quick access toolbar are where you will find commands to perform the common tasks in Excel. So Excel uses a tagged ribbon system instead of traditional menus. The ribbon contains multiple tabs, each with several groups of commands. You will use the tabs to perform the most common tasks in Excel. Okay, so entering, formatting, and shortlist. So this is the shortlist we'll be using. This for memory. Here, so formulas and functions in Excel. So what are formulas? Formulas are entered in the workbook cell and must begin with an equal sign. The formula then includes the addresses of the cell, whose values will be manipulated with appropriate operand placed in between. After the formula is typed, so like you can see in the picture, the formula is B2 multiplied by C2. We're adding the price of each one, so biology, chemistry, calculus, English. The formula then includes the address of the cells, which values will be manipulated. After the formula is typed into the cell, the calculation executes immediately, and the formula itself is visible in the formula bar. So you can see in the example below, the formula is visible in the bar. The formula multiplies the quantity and price of each textbook and adds the total for each book. Scroll down. So here are some of the formula operators that Excel has. There are 4 basic mathematical operators when writing a formula. These operators are to tell the formula what to perform. So as you can see, addition is the addition, the plus sign symbol. Subtraction is the dash or hyphen. Multiplication is the asterisk. And division is the forward slash. The next table lists in the order of operations. So like BEDMAS, as you begin to write your formulas, keep in mind that information in parentheses is always performed first. So as you need to refer back to BEDMAS. So here's the order. So and or not. So the logic is in number 1, plus or minus is number 2. The exponents are number 3, multiplication and division number 4, plus minus number 5. And so like the when you're adding a text concatenation, then the logic test, and then equal to, not equal to, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So what are functions? Functions are built-in Excel, or a faster way of doing mathematical operations than formulas. So for example, if you want to add the values of cells from D1 to D10, you can type the formula D1 plus D2 and etc. Keep all the way D10. But a shorter way to do that would just be equal sum and then D1 colon D10. So this is a faster way of doing it. So here are some examples. If you want to sum finds the sum of the cells, average finds the average of cells from B1 through B10, and then max finds the highest number from cells from the specific cells, and the minimum the opposite. And then if you want to find the square root of the value, you use the square root function, and today returns the current date. The insert function. Excel has hundreds of pre-written formulas which make it easier to do complex procedures when numbers, dates, text, and more. So as you can see, we are using the insert function. So click the insert function button on the formula bar. The insert dialog opens, and then in the search, you can type a description of what you want. So this is the easier way of making your life easier. Auto sum. In Excel, the editing group on the Home tab has a button that simplifies adding a column or row of numbers. The auto sum button, which resembles the Greek letter sigma, as you can see here, like the backwards E, automatically creates a sum function. When you click the auto sum button on Excel, it creates a sum function for the column of numbers. So in the photo, you can see price is auto summing from C2 to C5. If the range is not correct, simply select the proper range. You can use your mouse to highlight it, which one you want to add. When you have the correct range, press enter, and it'll complete the sum. Autofilling functions. Autofill can also be used to copy functions. In the example below, column A and column B, as you see, each contain a list of numbers, and column C contains the sum of column A and B for each row. So on the left side, you can see 87 plus 49 is 136, and 87 plus 49 is 136, so it's adding them. The function in cell C2 would be equal to sum A2 plus B2. The function can be copied to the remaining cells of column C by activating cell C2 and dragging the handle down to fill the remaining cells. The autofill feature will automatically update the row numbers as shown below in the cells and reference relatively. So it's just adding up numbers 1 and 2. Cell reference. There are 2 basic types of cell references in Excel, relative and absolute. The difference between absolute and relative cell references become apparent when you copy formulas from one cell to another. When you copy a formula containing a relative references, the references are adjusted to reflect the new location. Absolute references always refer to the same cell, regardless of where the formula is copied. Relative references are default. To create our absolute reference, type the $ before each part of the cell reference. So you can see C1 is relative, so both the row and column will change when copied to another location. So $C1 mix, so the column will not change, but the row will. And then $1, the row will not change, but the column will. And then $C and then $1, the both will not change when copied to another location. So this is another example of relative and absolute, like using an example. This shows the formulas used to create order from below. We use the fill handle, which usually gives the relative reference. And then for the sales tax calculation, we needed to use the absolute reference in cell C9. Okay, that's all for formulas and function. Now visualizing data with charts in Excel. So here we're just going to learn about creating charts using Microsoft Excel. So the objective here is to learn how to create a graph using the new Excel version, understand the terms used in creating a chart, and make changes and customize a graph. So as you can see, we'll be making the chart on the right. So to begin, let's open up your Microsoft Excel worksheet, and Excel will automatically open a spreadsheet like this. You just got to save it and name it. So this the data table we're going to use. Age will be the independent variable, so the X variable, so like age and years. And then the breathing capacity will be the Y-axis, so the other side. So in cell A1 of the new Excel, type age and then brackets years, and then cell B1 next to it, type in breathing capacity. And then you can always adjust the column if needed to make it bigger if the words don't fit. So when you're done, your table should look like something like this. Your next step is to highlight the whole table. So like just highlight it with your mouse. Use your mouse to highlight cells that contain data as shown as like this. After highlighting, convert the data table into a chart by clicking on the Insert tab on the top like handle of your Excel. For this graphing Excel, you will click on Scatter. So we'll be using a scatter plot. You'll be using a scatter plot, yeah. This is an example. So the scatter plot is where the arrow's pointing. The graph will appear on your Excel chart and look similar to this. So right beside your table, you'll have a graph. Note, if you want to change the chart type, just click inside the chart on the design under the chart tools, and you can change it to any type of chart you want. Next, we will be adding a title to our chart. So click the design tab and go to add chart element. Click the more button to see all elements that you can add. Each option provides features that change the way graph components, so like the X and Y axes, are laid out and what information they supply. For this case, select chart title followed by the axis title, and then the second for primary vertical. Another way is to click design, then click quick layouts, click the more button to see all layouts. Each option shows a different layout. And then the third option is to add a chart element icon, which offers many of the same options, which is the fastest way to add a title. Adding titles for the chart and axes. In the chart title box, type in the title for the graph, breathing capacity as a function of age. In the horizontal axis, type in the title for the graph, age for the x-axis, and then in the vertical axis, type in the breathing capacity for the y-axis. This is just keep explaining how to add a title. So here we'll be learning how to form our x and y axes. Under the add chart element option, using either the button on the design or the ribbon, hover over the axis option. So just hover over it and choose more axis options. So the format axes menu will appear on the right side like this. Left click on the number scale beside you and the desired axes. Choose which axis you want to format. So here you can see if you want to format the x-axis to make it bigger or smaller, you can see it. And click the number that best suits you. So like, for example, you can format it to go from 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, or by fives, 5, 10, 15, 20. Complete the axis options made inside the format axis box. So like you can use this table. When finished with the previous slide, your axis should look like this. If you do not close the format axis menu, position your cursor and then left click the menu, it will not change. So just save your information. Here we'll be learning how to format the plot area. Plot area selections, we will use mainly the options under the paint bucket icon. So fill allows you to select the background pattern for the plot area, and border color allows you to select the style, color, and weight of the line around the plot area. To format the data points in the line, position the cursor on the data points or the line and click it. Or the right click on the choose format if you're close the menu. If you had the right click and pull down menu will appear that allow you to choose the format data series. So here, as you can see, we have the format. The left-hand side shows the options for formatting the line. But this is all subjective, whether you want your line to be thicker, thinner, with more borders. This is all subjective to you, however you want your graph to come out on. So there are several selections for the line, but you can use a line and marker under the paint bucket, and then fill border with a shadow, glow, etc. But a special interest is the marker option, so you can use this is all your whatever you want to do. So like whatever color, the thickness, and the border. Next, we will be adding a line of best fit to better make our graph look like more understandable. So position your arrow on the data points, then right click, a pull down menu will be displayed on the screen similar to this. So here, format trend line, go down to add trend line and click. To format, right click the trend line, then select format or use the plus button beside the chart. Then a trend line, then select more options. Under the trend line, options choose a linear line. So this line will appear. So the line of best fit will appear. Under that, choose a solid line because it'll be very visual to the people who are visual learners. And then next we'll be adding our name. Select the graph by clicking on a blank space. Click on the Insert tab, then click on the down arrow under the text, and then choose header and footer. Type your name and other information required. So like if you want, you can put your name, the course that you're learning, and then your teacher's name, and then leave the other sections empty. And then printing the graph. So choose the file menu on the top left corner. In the new menu, click print, then print again to your graph. And then this will be your finished product. Your graph will be printed out.